They're all NBA Hall of Famers, and they're all extremely rich. In this video, we'll talk about what some of the biggest NBA legends did after they retired, how they keep earning millions, and how they are spending them. Michael Jordan. Wright Thompson of ESPN had written a gripping piece on Michael Jordan in 2013, just ahead of his 50th birthday. It's a fantastic read, titled "Michael Jordan Has Not Left the Building," and it gives us incredible insight about who Jordan really is as a person, his habits, weaknesses, and close relationships. At the age of 50, Jordan was still deeply in love with the game of basketball, and he struggled to let go of his sanctuary, that is the orange ball and a hoop. He still wanted to play and dominate the game more than anything. Heck, he was just 10 years removed from averaging 20 points per game in his final season, and just a couple of months removed from beating Michael Kidd Gilchrist in a one-on-one game. Kidd Gilchrist was 20 at the time, and the second overall pick in the NBA draft, which tells you how good Jordan was as a player at 49 and how bad he was as a GM. At the age of 50, Jordan enjoyed a few close friendships. He loved to eat, drink expensive liquor, and smoke cigars. He loved watching basketball, even though he'd often get mad at current players. You guessed it, he thinks they're soft. It's been 8 years since that Wright Thompson story, and Jordan is now 58. Charlotte had finally made some solid picks in recent years, and MJ can't beat his lottery picks anymore. What hasn't changed is that he is still a cigar aficionado. He still spends many hours on the golf course and likes quality spirits and fine dining. MJ also became an avid big game fisherman after years of struggling to even get near the water. Air Jordans are selling better than ever, along with many other investments. Michael's getting richer by the second. He's also giving away more money than ever, donating to charities worldwide. He loves spending time with his family, and he recently just became a grandfather. Yep, MJ is a grandpa. I can't believe it either. Allen Iverson. Once the best football player in the world, Ronaldinho went bankrupt in 2020 and ended up in jail. In 2021, he got released and is now again a millionaire because he's Ronaldinho, and endorsements are not hard to come by. I'm mentioning Ronaldinho here partly because there's a remarkable similarity between him and Allen Iverson and how iconic they are and how they are still adored by the fans worldwide. And if you're wondering what Allen Iverson is doing right now, he's being Allen Iverson. And just like Ronaldinho, he earns great money off his name and likeness. He also spends a lot more time with his kids now and is working on an autobiography. When he was a player, AI liked to go out, drink, and tell stories. He still likes to do that. He used to wear jewelry and dress like rappers, and that hasn't changed either. He still braids his hair. In fact, not much has changed about Allen Iverson, and it's always been like that. He's still the same person as a Hall of Famer as he was growing up in Virginia, and many people are equally eager to meet him now as they did in 2001 when he was the NBA MVP. So, it's pretty good to be Allen Iverson. Larry Bird. The last game of Larry Bird's legendary career happened in 1992. However, basketball never stopped for the hick from French Lick, and his post-career has always been centered around basketball. The Celtics employed Bird as a special assistant in the team's front office from 1992 until 1997. Larry also started acting in basketball movies, always playing himself. In 1994, he had a scene with Nick Nolte in Blue Chips. In 1996, he played golf with Michael Jordan and Bill Murray in Space Jam. And in the same year, he was also in the cast of Celtic Pride with Dan Aykroyd and Damon Wayans. He then got into coaching and spent 3 years on the bench of his beloved Indiana Pacers, winning Coach of the Year in 1998 and reaching the NBA Finals in 2000. From 2003 until 2017, Bird acted as the Pacers' president of basketball operations. In 2012, he won the Executive of the Year award, becoming the first person with Player, Coach, and Executive of the Year trophies. In 2009, he co-wrote a book with Magic Johnson titled When the Game Was Ours. In 2019, Bird and Magic received the NBA's Lifetime Achievement Award. When he's at home, Larry likes being around his grandchildren, mowing his lawn, drinking beer, fishing, and playing golf. Magic Johnson. When Magic Johnson finished his basketball career, he knew that he wanted to make it as an entrepreneur. So he picked up the phone and cold called Lakers courtside season ticket holders, some of which were amongst the most successful people in their industries. From that moment on, Magic started investing. The first thing he did was to buy a 4.5% stake in the LA Lakers for $10 million, which was almost half of his entire net worth back then, but a pretty lucrative decision in the long run. Magic also invested heavily into real estate, opening shopping centers, gyms, and movie theaters in underserved urban areas. In 1998, he met with Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz and invested in Starbucks stock and developed a chain of Starbucks locations in underserved locations and struck gold again. When he sold his stake in Starbucks and the Lakers in 2010, he netted more than $100 million. He then started investing in tech, which yielded more success and more dollars. But perhaps his most significant investment was in the Los Angeles Dodgers, which he purchased in 2012 for a whopping $2 billion with various partners. Magic's net worth is close to $700 million, and with that kind of cheddar, Magic lives a pretty comfortable lifestyle, as you can probably imagine. He's famously yachting on super expensive boats at least 2 months each year, which prohibits him from having a real job. You know, the kind where you need to be somewhere day in and day out. Magic tried to have a job recently, but he realized that he didn't need it, and said, "I ain't gonna be here." His face became a meme, but Magic doesn't care, because he's worth over $500 million, and he yachts with Samuel L. Jackson. Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan never stopped practicing with the Spurs after he retired in 2016. Duncan's unofficial footwork and post skills school was open for young Spurs players, and because he was spending so much time in the gym, Timmy got promoted to assistant coach in 2019. When Coach Pop missed the game in March of 2020 for personal reasons, Duncan made his debut as acting head coach, leading the Spurs to a 104-103 comeback win over the Charlotte Hornets. However, his coaching winning percentage will remain perfect for now, because in November of 2020, Duncan stepped down as the Spurs' assistant coach. Traveling with the team had kept Duncan from two of his other favorite jobs, and that's being a father to his 2 children and running the Blackjack Speed Shop, a custom auto body shop. Since it opened in 2012, Duncan's car shop has modified over 10,000 vehicles. So if you live around San Antonio, check out his place, and Timmy might personally pimp your ride. Hakeem Olajuwon. After retirement in 2002, the best player in Rockets history found great success in real estate. Hakeem quadrupled his net worth, investing in Houston's growing area, with his profits estimated at more than $100 million. However, just like many people on this list, Olajuwon stayed connected to basketball, but in a very different way than most. Hakeem launched his first big man camp in 2006, a camp for professional basketball players, where the Dream started teaching his deep bag of spins, fakes, and graceful footwork that made him famous. The 3 or 4 days in the post with Hakeem was priced at $50,000, which is not a lot for NBA superstars. Hakeem's basketball clinic actually proved to be invaluable for Kobe and LeBron James, who both worked out with Hakeem and significantly improved their post play, especially LeBron. Other players who worked on their game with Olajuwon include Yao Ming, Dwight Howard, the Lopez twins, Rudy Gay, and some others. Hakeem is still teaching the fine art of scoring in the post, but now it's a bit more personal. Hakeem has been living in the UK for years, but after his children had decided to get serious about basketball, he moved his family back to Houston and is now helping his 2 teenage sons on their basketball journey. Kareem AbdulJabbar. With 6 MVPs, 19 All-Stars, 6 NBA titles, 3 NCAA championships, and the most points in NBA history, Kareem's basketball CV is arguably second to none. However, his off-the-court resume is not too far behind. Jabbar famously appeared next to Bruce Lee in Game of Death in 1972, and in 1980, he played co-pilot Roger Murdoch in Airplane. After he retired in 1989, Kareem had many other TV and film appearances, usually playing himself. He directed a basketball documentary about Harlem called On the Shoulder of Giants, and he even appeared in season 26 of Dancing with the Stars in 2018. Kareem is a best-selling author and has published more than a dozen books, mostly on African-American history. He also had a regular column in Time magazine, often discussing race, religion, and politics. In 2012, Jabbar became a cultural ambassador for the United States, and in 2016, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Barack Obama. David Robinson. David Robinson is another Hall of Famer who carved another Hall of Fame career in business. David retired in 2003, and in 2007, he launched a private equity fund called Admiral Capital. The fund raised more than $100 million, after which Robinson acquired real estate assets worth north of $350 million. He's also a 2% minority owner of the San Antonio Spurs, and the franchise is worth close to $2 billion today. The Admiral is also the founder of the Carver Academy in San Antonio and has contributed more than $10 million to the school and the San Antonio community. Yao Ming. Yao Ming was an 8-time All-Star and a global superstar, but his career was cut short in 2011 at the age of 30 due to constant foot and ankle injuries. Since 2009, he owned the basketball team Shanghai Sharks, his first professional club. However, he sold his stake in the team when he got appointed as the president of the Chinese Basketball Association in 2017, a position he still holds today. Yao earned a degree in economics in 2018. He opened several restaurants in Houston and China, and he also owns a winery called Yao Family Wine Pines in Napa Valley in California. Yao also got into politics and has done a lot of philanthropic work, mainly in helping the poor and preserving wildlife. Karl Malone. Karl Malone lives in Ruston, Louisiana, where he spends most of his free time hunting and fishing, something he loved to do all of his life. He owns many properties in Ruston, and locals call his part of the city Malone Town. From restaurants, apartment buildings, clothing stores, bars, and cigar shops, everything is owned by the mailman. Malone is still a gym freak that he's been his entire career and is in tip-top shape at the age of 58.